But anyways, now what was unique about Crazy Arms was that it was played and sung by you to a driving 4/4 shuffle beat with a walking bass line that pushed the song right along, which was something that had never been done before in country music. And
well, it's just an idea of mine we did on the session. It worked out just fine.
So when you went into the studio, you intended to create that extra element.
Well, I didn't intend to. It just happened. And it came to me while we was doing it, and I talked to the band, and they all got with it. Worked out just perfect and changed things for me.
Now, after you were done recording that Crazy Arms, did you think that it was going to be a groundbreaking recording, or were you unsure, or just waiting to see what was going to happen?
Don Law, who was my producer, it ran up to #1 and knocked Elvis off the charts with Heartbreak Hotel.
Sure.
And so Elvis started back up the charts again. It was #1, and I got nervous. I called Don Law. I said, think we ought to put something out? He said, no, this is just getting started. And it was. It was my first million seller.
And it's a fabulous song, one of my favorites also. But you really, because rock and roll had sort of taken over country music for a while. Well, Elvis' style, rockabilly. But the creation of the Texas Shuffle, or the Ray Price Shuffle, as it's now known, really put country music back to the, moved country music back to the front of music, really.
Well, I
overall.
hope I'll be able to do that again. I'm thinking of a new sound to go with it, and maybe it'll change things again.
I hope so, because the country music today, I don't know, you cannot beat hearing you sing your songs, the old recordings and you singing live today. And maybe we'll talk about some of your shows in a few minutes, but some of the other great songs that followed in that Ray Price Shuffle format were Heartaches by the Number, City Lights, Heart Over Mind, Pride. There's just a whole mess of them that a lot of them became #1 records, and the others were still very high up on the charts. And you can really, well, how did you, I guess let me ask, what did you think when everyone started to copy the style that you had created there first with Crazy Arms? Because it seemed like everybody in the country field started recording in that format.
I know it kind of made me mad, because it's like the jockeys playing that sound with somebody else is like giving my sound away.
Sure.
And for a while it aggravated me, and then I realized that actually it was a good thing for country music, so I'm just proud that happened.
Sure. And you mind if we talk about your band a little bit?
No, go ahead.
The fabulous Cherokee Cowboys, which you told us earlier were originally Hank Williams' band, the Drifting Cowboys, and then you sort of converted them into the Cherokee Cowboys.
Yeah, because they sounded so much like Hank, I had to change the sound, and I went back to the Texas roots and got a Western swing band called the Western Cherokees.
Ah, okay.
And then I named them after the Drifting Cowboys and the Western Cherokees by calling them Cherokee Cowboys.
Sure, and throughout the years you have lent a hand to many singers and songwriters like Willie Nelson, Roger Miller, and Johnny Paycheck, and what's special about this group of three was that they were all members of your Cherokee Cowboys band at one time or another.
All of them turned out to be great. I'm tickled to death about that. Willie and I are real close friends, and don't forget Darryl McCall was there.
Sure, Darryl McCall, too.
And Johnny Bush.
Johnny Bush.
They've all done good, and I feel real good about that.
And, let's see here. Do you have a memorable story that you might like to tell us about a particular band moment from the past or the present?
Well, when Willie first came to work with me, Paycheck had gone out on his own, and Paycheck had played bass. And I needed a bass player, and I asked Willie, I said, you want to go to work? And he was starving to death. He said, yeah. I said, playing bass? He said, I'll do it. So we went out on tour for 10 days. We come back in. Willie said, I bet you didn't know I couldn't play bass. And I said, I did the first night.
Oh, good old Willie. I'm sure he caught on pretty quick, though. Pretty fast.
Absolutely. He's a good one. Yeah.
And I guess now, you mind if we go to the mid-'60s? When you started to diversify your music with somewhat pop-flavored ballads such as Make the World Go Away, written by Hank Cochran, and a jazzy version of Willie Nelson's Nightlife. Did you have any particular reason for wanting to vary the style of music you performed and sang?
Well, I needed to do something different. We needed a bigger audience. And
Sure.
by adding strings and everything, it made it a little more soothing to some of the people that love the pop song.
Sure. Because, well, in 1967...
I was real proud of it, yeah.
You then recorded what I think was such a fabulous version of Danny Boy, which was recorded... Was that your first record with a full orchestra?
No, the first thing I did was a Faith album. I had 17 strings, but that was a religious thing. But the
Sure.
first one for just plain commercial was Danny Boy, right.
And you won many new audiences and fans. But at first, some of your hardcore country honky-tonk fans, which they somewhat preferred your 1966 honky-tonk hit Touched My Heart...
They got down on me pretty hard, but it all ended after 3 or 4 years. They finally gave in.
Did you ever wonder whether you should continue down the sort of crossover road or return back?
I believe that's where I always thought it was there, and it kind of turned out to be. I was lucky it worked out that way.
Sure.
And that's why I'm working now on a different sound to go with it. It'll be a little bit, maybe a little stranger to everybody, but I think it'll work just right.
Sure. And of course, by the time your smash hit For the Good Times came around in the early 1970s, you had pretty much gained back all your previous fans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they didn't leave me long. They understood.
And well, For the Good Times, of course, was at #1 on the country charts for, it seemed like, forever back in the day. And it also hit number 11 on the pop charts.
Yeah, it stayed on the pop charts in the pop albums for 3 years. I was real happy.
And another recording of yours in the similar style was I Won't Mention It Again, which also was pretty much equally successful.
Right.
Then again, fabulous songs. And
then I had another one called You're the Best Thing.
You're the Best Thing, sure.